Thank you. Hi, welcome to your third session. We're glad that you decided to join us for looking at supporting assistive technology at the home in the home. We're glad to have you with us this morning. My name is Ms. Shannon McCarthy, and I'm one of the educators on the OCPS assistive technology team, along with my partner.
Hi, I'm Jessica Hagan. I am also one of the members of the Assistive Technology team, and I'm super excited that you're here with us today. All right. If you do need translation during our session, please refer to this slide in front of you to go ahead and make the adjustments as necessary for you. While you're doing that, just to let you know a little bit about our team, we are a small but mighty team here in the district. There are 5 of us. There's 3 of us on the curriculum and learning team, and then there's 2 communication specialists or SLPs, and we work cohesively with all of the schools within the district to support students in their assistive technology needs. So let's look at our objective today. Our session objective is, that we are hoping that you will learn how to use and support assistive technology tools that may help students with communication, independent functioning, and access to the curriculum. We want you to be able to create opportunities for your child to use and practice those skills at home that will support the AT consideration and use of assistive technology in the school environment. And this is something that's available to all grades in Orange County Public Schools. Now, while we've shared our objective with you, go ahead and take a second in the chat and explain to us, why did you choose this session and what are you hoping to gain out of your learning here this morning? I will tell you that sometimes the chat does delay a little bit slightly for us. So if we move on and you're still typing, we promise you we will come back to you. All right, and while you're typing, let's go ahead and go over our agenda today. What we're really hoping that you get out of here, or what we'll be going over, excuse me, is what is assistive technology? How is it determined if a student needs assistive technology? How do I help my student to use assistive technology? And we're also going to be explaining what resources are available, not only to the students, but to you as parents as well.
So we'll start right off by answering that first question of what is assistive technology. So, the official definition from the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, defines assistive technology as any item, piece of equipment, or product system, whether acquired commercially off the shelf, modified, or customized, that is used to increase, maintain, or improve the functional capabilities of a child with a disability. Now, although this pertains mostly to the school environment, I want you to think about the fact that we all use assistive technology every day. For example, a vibrating alarm clock or those rubber grips that you use to open a jar, or even using Alexa. These are all examples of assistive technology. They improve the functional capabilities of the tool or the user. There's an important difference also between assistive technology and instructional technology. Instructional technology tools help teach educational content. For example, things like learning apps and websites that teach maybe phonics or math facts or even articulation skills, those would be instructional technology, where assistive technology tools present the content in a different way or allow for the user to respond or interact with the content differently. It provides access to that content. So maybe a large key keyboard or text reading software would be the assistive technology that a student might use to interact with the phonics, math, or articulation content. So before we move on, can I see any thumbs up or thumbs down, yes or no? Have we been able to answer that first question that was there on our agenda? Have we answered what is assistive technology? Do you have a better understanding of what AT is? That's just awesome because we're going to move in to thinking about assistive technology a little bit more. And you're going to have the opportunity to engage by sharing some ideas. So I want you to take a moment and think about your day. Think about what kind of assistive technology that you may use daily or that you see others using. Think about tools that make everyday activities more accessible and use the chat to share some examples of AT that you can think of. So I see that we can use some translation and closed captioning assistive technology to help us when we're looking at digital content to translate into our language or be able to read what is also being said aloud if we have difficulty hearing it. What if I had difficulty typing on the keyboard on my smartphone keyboard? I could then maybe use speech to text by using my voice to type, or maybe a specialized stylus that I could then use the keyboard with. And then if I had difficulty communicating or wasn't able to speak, some ideas of assistive technology that I might be able to use to support me with communicating might just be typing. I might be able to get my thoughts out that way, and then someone could read that, or I could highlight it and have it read by text to speech software. I could just handwrite it with a pen and paper. Those tools would then be by assistive technology because they're allowing me to do something that I otherwise couldn't with my voice. And also using the augmented and alternative communication devices like AAC, which we'll take a look at some of those tools a bit later. And even just picture supports or showing pictures of what I'm communicating. These are all great examples of assistive technology. But it's also important to note that assistive technology in the school setting, which we're talking about today, refers specifically to supports that help support the tasks in the educational setting. Like in OCPS, in our educational setting, many assistive technology tools are available to all students in the classroom in the to use as needed because they provide tools that are helpful to many. But when this tool becomes necessary for a student be able to perform a task, then it becomes assistive technology or an assistive technology accommodation for that child. So, looking at this diagram, you'll see that all students might have access to things like visuals, digital books, typing and word processing in a device district like ours, predictive typing, voice output devices. But when an exceptional education student requires these tools to be able to accomplish educationally relevant tasks, and when the school team, IEP or 504, determine that a student requires this to accomplish their IEP goals and objectives, then it becomes assistive technology. So there's a process that we have set up that we work with our school teams where we can trial some of these tools or even some that are additionally available through our team that might not be available within the classroom to collect some data to make sure that the students can use these tasks to be able to use these tools, I'm sorry, to be able to accomplish the tasks that they need to complete within the classroom or reach their IEP goals. We collect data, we go through a consideration process, and then make a decision as a team whether or not these would be considered assistive technology accommodations for that student.
So now we're going to discuss how we determine if a student needs assistive technology. So as we know, for people without disabilities, technology definitely makes things easier. But for people with a disability, technology makes things possible. We know that assistive technology can help level that playing field for a student with any area of challenge. Now, how is it determined if a student needs AT in the classroom to support academic tasks. The child's school team should work together with the student and the family to identify if there's a possible need for AT, trial some AT tools, and collect that data to determine if your child requires assistive technology. I want you to consider the following 3 questions and discuss them with your child's school team if you feel necessary. Number 1, is there a task that your child has difficulty with or cannot complete because of a disability? Number 2, why is your child having that difficulty? And number 3, what assistive technology tools can we consider? Now, in the next few slides, we are going to go over many of those assistive technology tools, so it's okay if you're not quite aware of what they all are at this point. Let's dig in a little deeper to uncover some academic difficulties that some students face in regards to curriculum and learning, communication, and independent functioning. We will explore why they may face these challenges and share some examples of AT that may be appropriate to support these. First, we're going to look at reading. Exploring these examples will help you understand and support assistive technology use for the student that struggles with reading. The first step is understanding the task that the student has difficulty with. So for example, the task that this student has difficulty with is reading grade level content. So, excuse me, we want to look at a few of the reasons why that might be. In the first example, it shows that maybe the student has a phonics or decoding deficit. In that case, the school may consider trialing text-to-speech software or digital books with audio support. This is a screenshot of a digital text and a text-to-speech tool called Read Write Google. Here, text is highlighted as it's read aloud by the computer. This is an example of a tool that is available to all OCPS students, but may be AT for those who need it. In the next section, we consider that it's possible that a physical disability may limit the child's ability to hold a book or turn pages. As part of the school team, it may be decided to try slant board and page fluffers. Here's a book presented at an angle, determined to be optimal for the student, and thick pieces of foam have been placed between the pages in order for the student to physically grab and turn the pages of the book independently. Another option may be digital content with click-turn pages. Clicking a mouse or tapping on the screen may allow for turning pages when physical page turning is not possible. If your child's disability affects the ability to track or follow a line of print, they may find that a reading tracker, like this paper ruler with a transparent window used on a traditional book or worksheet, or a screen masking tool like this digital screen masking tool appropriate for digital content, may help. This digital masking tool is available to all students in Orange County Public Schools. All OCPS laptop users have access to a toolbar called Read and Write Google Toolbar that has many reading and writing supports. Both line tracking options allow the students to follow along. They're just different tools for the different environments. In the next section, we consider if a student's visual impairment may require large print. Digital text with high zoom and high contrast or customization tools, or the use of digital text with audio support like we saw with the text-to-speech tool above using the Read Write Google toolbar. In the last section, we see that maybe your student has a language or vocabulary deficit. Many tools are available for this as well. Through the Google toolbar, we do have dictionaries that are available. There's also visual supports that can be used. And both of these tools are embedded in the Google Read and Write toolbar. Google Read and Write also has a translation tool which would highlight a word and translate it into multiple different languages. Again, many of these tools are available in OCPS for all students to access. Your child may be using tools like digital books to support their reading. If you feel these tools might be necessary for your student to be successful, you may want to have this conversation with your child's school team. If the school needs support or training on the use of these tools, they can contact us, their AT support team.
Next, let's explore some writing tasks and tools. So let's remember that the first step is understanding the task that the student is having difficulty with. So we're going to consider writing tasks. There are multiple reasons why a student might be having difficulty with writing. For example, the student might have illegible handwriting because of fine motor difficulties, and they might benefit from tools like specially lined paper, an adaptive writing tool. Just like the definition said, for AT, you'll see that some of these might be commercially bought off the shelf or maybe molded and customized to fit the needs of a particular student. Word processing and typing for written responses may be a helpful tool, along with stamps and or sticky notes to help the student communicate their words and get them into writing. If spelling or grammar deficits make it difficulty for them, you might want to consider spelling or grammar checks, dictionaries, printed or digital. Here you see a digital dictionary, a picture dictionary, and word prediction all running together. And again, these are available through Read Write Google, an extension provided in OCPS. Word prediction, seen here in this picture, works just like the word prediction on your smartphone. So as you type, the program displays the words that it thinks that the student may be trying to type or write based on spelling and or context. Voice typing or speech to text is available in many programs as an accessibility tool. Here you see it being used with Google Docs, a web-based word processing program provided for teachers and students in OCPS, where they just click the microphone and then can use their voice to type. A student might also be having difficulty with writing tasks because of thought process and processing. What you're trying to say and put into physical words on paper involves a complex set of skills and a lot of multitasking that can be very difficult for some. So, AT supports like word prediction, like we showed before, might be able to help. Voice typing or speech to text can make writing possible. For some students, they need some low-tech tools like some word banks and or picture prompts may be needed to help get their ideas out onto paper. And here's a more high-tech version of those word banks for writing. And then some simple low-tech graphic organizers, whether digital or paper-based, may be required to get those thoughts together and convert them into writing. Information about all these tools and resources can be found on our AT parent page, resource page that we're going to be sharing with you at the end of our presentation today. So next we're going to talk about some communication needs and some tools to support them.
All right. Your child may need AT for communication if he or she has limited knowledge and understanding of vocabulary, such as no tech communication boards, low tech, excuse me, communication boards, not no tech. Um, Here's an example of a core board uh, that's used and can be easily printed. Visuals provide a concrete way to understand the world and abstract concepts. Children with limited verbal intelligible speech can convey their message in a way that communication partners understand. Core and manual communication boards also keep the vocabulary located in the same place to improve their fine motor planning skills. Maybe the student has limited expressive verbal speech and limited spelling and or written output. You could look at a low-tech device such as this step-by-step single set voice output button, or you can look into more of a mid-tech device like a tech talk or tech chat, tech speak, all the tech things. If your student has limited verbal speech but good literacy, written output and literacy skills, you may want to consider using more high-tech devices such as a Prolo to Go, which is available on iPads, or even considering a typing or texting app. All right. Some students have difficulties using their hands to touch, point, or grasp functionally, so teams can consider various switches which allow students to access the curriculum. For example, maybe your student has limited use of their hands and are eye pointing. Some of the things that you can look at are different switches that we do have available. Here's an example of several of the switches we have to allow your student to be able to access their curriculum as well. Other students have difficulty accessing keyboards and or trackpads or mice. So those teams can consider AT tools such as the one showing. We have modified keyboards as well as different adaptive mice that are available to students. If a student has a visual disability and can't access their school laptop, there is some software that can be used that the laptop team can consider with tools to assist with that as well. Okay, Shannon's going to start going over how we can support the use of assistive technology at home now that we've showed you a few different examples that we have here at school.
So for supporting the use of assistive technology at home, the following points are important to remember. For supporting the functions of the AT tools that your child may be using in school. The first one is to keep open communication with your school teams. The use of assistive technology is specific to the individual, their needs, their environment, and the task that needs to be completed. So, working together with your team to know your child's strengths and challenges, what they struggle with, and consider the support tools that they need. Um, to help find what's most appropriate for your child at home and at school is very important. If your child is an AT user, you may want to familiarize yourself with the tools and the functions of these tools. You can support the use of AT even if the specific tool that your child uses at school is not available within the home environment. So, we're going to review some of these tools and the functions they provide, and I want you to think about how you could support these at home. Several of the examples that we shared with you earlier, especially for reading and writing supports, included tools that are available through the Read Write Google extension. And OCPS provides these wonderful resources for reading and writing to all students, which we've said many times before. Um, but students can access these at school on their OCPS laptop or device, but if they bring those home, they can also access it there. If they don't have their school laptop, if they log into their Google Chrome with their OCPS information, they'll be able to access these tools. I did want to make sure that you understood that all these tools that are available through Read Write Google can be available anywhere you can access Google Chrome and log in with your students. Um, Google Chrome information from OCPS, but we're going to talk about that you could use these specific tools if available at home, but we're also going to look at other ways that you can support the same functions as we've talked about, but in different ways. Say if you were in a place where there wasn't internet, or you were at grandma's house in Alaska and just weren't able to get the specific tools that the same tools your student uses at school. So we're going to look at a few of these tools and apply the learning. So, for instance, in class, your student is using Read Write Google for speech to text. You'll be able to use those same tools at home when appropriate um, with using Read Write Google to have things read aloud to your child. But are there some other creative ways that you can think of to provide that same function as text to speech when the software might not be available? Can maybe write those in the chat there. So I know other websites and digital books, maybe through your library, read aloud videos that are available on YouTube or other channels that have books put together. I know that there are even books available with an interpreter in the corner who provide sign language support for books that are read. Video chat with a friend or family member to have those books read aloud, but in a different way. And these things might be fun and even necessary for the student to see that there's other ways for them to access the information without just using that one tool. And it's fun to be able to listen to a story read by grandma from, maybe another city instead of always hearing that same voice on the text to speech. So let's look at this again. Your child may be using a reading tracker like these two when they're at school and possibly at home. But if that exact tracking tool isn't available, what are some things that you could use at home to provide that same function, allowing them to track as they read? Pretty much anything with a straight edge or a clear window could be used. So, for example, a bookmark, an envelope, a ruler, even just a piece of paper or a sheet protector, maybe even in a different color to allow masking some of that information on the page.
Okay. So now that we've talked about some examples of AT tools and their function on the reading and writing side, let's talk about some of those tools that we can use to support communication assistive technology at home. Let's talk about how I want to discuss two best practice strategies with you. The first one is aided language modeling. One of the easiest and most important strategies communication partners can do to help AAC users be more successful is aided language modeling. This simple technique involves partners using their students' communication systems by pointing to pictures on a display or device while they verbally interact with the student. There are three ways that you can use this aided language modeling. First thing you want to do is model. Use their AAC to model your words. Give meaning. If they're pointing at the snack, model. You want a snack. And then expand. They may use their AAC to just simply say snack, and you can expand that by modeling you want snack using their AAC. Looking at this image right here, it says by 18 months, babies have heard 4,380 hours of spoken language, but we don't expect them to be fluent speakers at 18 months old. If AAC learners only see symbols modeled for communication twice weekly for 20 to 30 minutes, it's going to take them 84 years to have the same exposure to aided language as an 18-month-old has to spoken language. And that is really profound. Considering that students are in school for approximately 1,600 hours per regular school year, you can understand why it takes time, modeling, and consistency for your student to use AT tools for communication of autonomous thoughts. The other best practice is core vocabulary, which is a small set of words that are high in frequency of use, used for a variety of communication functions and consistent across age, gender, environment, topic, and similar to words used for reading and writing, and versatile. Core vocabulary consists of 80% of the words that we use every day. This is an example of a low-tech, paper-based core board. Looking at this model, we could play Mr. Potato Head and model 2 to 3 word phrase sentences. As you're pointing to the pictures on the screen or on the paper that you would have at home, you could say things like, I do it, or put it here, put it in. So let's practice using some core words. Think of things that you would say during playing Mr. Potato Head. Go ahead and put those in the chat box. Remember, while you're doing this, practice pointing to the words on the screen in front of you. Great job. As we start wrapping up, I want you to take a look at this quote that we have here for you. Equality is leaving the door open for anyone who has means to approach it. Equity is ensuring that there's a pathway to that door for those who need it. And that's exactly what assistive technology can do for students. We hope you have a better understanding of what assistive technology is, the processes for AT at school, and how you can support AT use at home.
We want to leave you with some additional resources for follow up and for further information. So, first of all, partnering with the staff at your student school is going to be a great place to start for specific resources that meet the needs of your student. We also have an AT parent resource page where you can find print, digital, and video resources for all the A tools we discussed today and so much more. You can also find a link on this on our AT for our AT YouTube channel for some quick videos pertaining to high tech communication devices like Touch Chat and ProLaquota Go apps. So you can either scan this QR code with your smartphone or copy or type in that bit.ly right there. We'll try and get that in the chat for you as well so that you can just click on that and it'll take you to the AT parent resource page, which is a collection of a lot of different links that link you back to some information that we have created. And then also that's just available for some of the specific tools that we use. So we'd love to answer any questions that you might have. Um, and we will hang out here for a bit if there are any questions or comments that you would like to share with us. And we thank you so much for joining us today. And I believe from here, you can go back into our main room for the closing of today's Big Idea Conference. I do see that the link for the parent toolkit was put in the chat, so you're welcome to click on that, take a look through there, and then if any questions come up, we can answer those for you before you go today. Otherwise, we just like to say thank you and have a nice day, and goodbye for now.